Excellencies, distinguished guests, His Excellency Yoon Suk-yeol, President of the Republic of Korea. Please stand and welcome him with a warm round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could take your seats. Excellencies, distinguished guests, 안녕하십니까? Welcome to the opening ceremony of the Ministerial Conference and Multi-Stakeholder Roundtable of the Third Summit for Democracy. Thank you for sharing your valuable time with us this morning to mark this momentous event. My name is Son Ji-ae, Ambassador for Cultural Cooperation at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I will be guiding you through this morning's events. The Republic of Korea is hosting the Third Summit for Democracy, which is co-hosted by the United Kingdom, Ecuador, and the United States. With that, let us start the official opening ceremony. First, I would like to invite Korea's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jo Tae-yeol, to give us his opening remarks. Minister Jo, please give him a warm round of applause.
Promotes democratic values for the benefit of generations to come. This effort calls for collaboration on an unprecedented scale, drawing together governments, international organizations, civil society, private sector, and especially our youth, the agent of change and innovation. Catalyzing such global and multi-stakeholder partnerships is precisely what this Summit for Democracy will be doing over the next 3 days. As President Yoon stated on his first day in office, Human history shows that where political freedom reigned supreme, there prosperity flourished. Peace is guaranteed when countries that value freedom and human rights come together as one. Korea's own journey is a living testament to this truth. Our story showcases the political, economic, and cultural potential that is unleashed when embracing the ideals of freedom, human rights, and the rule of law. As Korea aspires to become a global pivotal state, we are committed to standing in solidarity with the international community to safeguard and advance these values. This is why Korea has decided to host the Third Summit for Democracy. I'm confident that our deliberations over the coming 3 days will harness our collective wisdom to shape a lasting democratic legacy for future generations. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Minister Cho. His inspiring remarks provide a great momentum as he raised the curtain of the Third Summit for Democracy. Next, we have prepared a special video that will illustrate the theme of today's meeting. The video features a traditional Korean performance, the Madang Nori, a performance that has been carried on for centuries and allows everyone to freely participate and express their opinions, resembling the democratic values we pursue today. With that in mind, please turn your attention to the screen. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the video and the inspiring messages it contains. We will now be hearing from the representatives of our co-host countries. First, we would like to invite Right Honorable Oliver Dowden, Deputy Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, onto the stage. Deputy Prime Minister.
Thank you. I'm proud to be here as an elected representative of the people of the United Kingdom. I speak not as an individual, but with a mandate on behalf of every citizen of my country. That is the powerful strength of democracy. Through our various systems, we are able to channel and amplify our collective voices. And through reasoned debate and ultimately elections, to come together with one voice. That is the simple principle that should not be taken for granted. It is neither universal nor inviolable. Throughout our history, the United Kingdom has championed and fought to defend our democratic freedoms. And as we meet today, once again, democracy faces threats on multiple fronts. Cyber attackers disrupting campaigns, populists embracing falsehoods, autocrats holding sham elections, and extremists promoting violence against candidates, to the extent that in the United Kingdom, we have seen 2 members of Parliament killed in recent years. These enemies of democracy seek to intimidate us, and yet the United Kingdom will remain steadfast in our efforts to combat them and to defend democratic principles around the world. This full spectrum of threats requires a full spectrum response: increased cyber defences, tackling mis- and disinformation, protections for candidates at home, and global consensus abroad. We will not be afraid to call out this malign activity wherever we see it. The collective power of democracies is what ultimately will defeat all those who seek to overthrow our systems. Together, we are greater than the sum of our parts. I want to thank the Republic of Korea for hosting this summit, and the United States in particular for their leadership on this issue. I look forward to our discussions in the coming days, and in particular, I welcome the focus on tackling the threat posed by artificial intelligence. As surely as artificial intelligence will bring rapid advances to all our lives, so too it has advanced the ability of those that seek to dupe and to deceive. The United Kingdom was therefore proud to lead the world in convening the first AI Safety Summit at Bletchley Park last year. And indeed, we are delighted that Korea will shortly be hosting the next one. The pace of progress and the globalized nature of this technology means that we need to redouble our research efforts, raise awareness of these threats, and deepen our collaboration. Together, we will reap the rewards today and safeguard and strengthen our democracy for many generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister, for your inspiring words. Next, we will have the honor of hearing from Her Excellency Gabriela Sommerfeld, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ecuador. Minister Sommerfeld?
안녕하세요. distinguished guests, leaders, and representatives of nations gathered here today. It is a great honor for me to extend a warm welcome to the Third Democracy Summit, which will be held on March 18 to 20th, 2024, in the beautiful Republic of Korea. I am pleased to note the presence of distinguished authorities who will accompany us during this summit, with the active participation of the President of the Republic of Korea, Mr. Yoon Suk Yeol, and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Korea, Mr. Cho Tae-yul, whose presence and leadership will be instrumental in guiding our discussions toward the path of collaboration and mutual understanding. At this critical time, we gather under the inspiring theme, Democracy for the Future Generations, reflecting our collective commitment to building a future where democracy flourishes as a source of equality, justice, and citizen participation. This summit stands as a beacon of hope and a space for productive dialogue, where we share our desire to understand the reality facing the generations to come. Beyond borders and differences, we are here to echo their voices, understand their challenges, and work together to build a more promising and equitable future. As part of this summit, we highlight the Leaders' Plenary, comprised of 3 strategic sessions, which we hope will be at the heart of our deliberations. These sessions will provide an invaluable space to explore avenues of cooperation and overcome the challenges facing democracy today. It is also important to underline that during the breaks between sessions, we will hear 2 special interventions from civil society, which will not only enrich our discussions, but will also provide a global platform for us to hear the different voices and visions of civil society. We encourage all participants to fully immerse themselves in the discussions, share their experiences and perspectives, and work together to forge solutions that advance the strengthening of democracy in our nations. On behalf of the Republic of Ecuador, and together with the Republic of Korea, we sincerely thank you for your presence and participation in this significant summit. We hope that these days could be a testimony to our shared commitment to a future where democracy is a beacon of hope for our nations. Chode Kamsa Hamnida.
Thank you, Minister Sommerfeld, for your inspiring words. Now we would like to invite His Excellency Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State of the United States of America, onto the podium.
Thank you very, very much. President Yoon, Prime Minister Cho, thank you for hosting this 3rd Summit for Democracy. And I hope that the extraordinary spirit of Nori that we just saw a few moments ago pervades the next 3 days, and indeed helps us carry forward from Seoul as we not only do our work here, but then continue it in the many weeks and months ahead. It's particularly fitting, in fact, it's even a little bit poignant that we're gathered here in Seoul, in Korea, for this 3rd Summit for Democracy, a nation that transformed over a single generation into one of the strongest, most dynamic democracies in the world, a champion of democracy for the world. I also want to thank our partners who are here with us today from the United Kingdom and Ecuador in helping to carry forward the banner of the Summit for Democracy. And everyone present today, thank you for being here. We come from nations large and small, east and west, developed and developing economies. But we're all united by a fierce conviction that democracy is the single most powerful tool for unleashing human potential and delivering results for our people. 3 years ago, President Biden launched the Summit for Democracy out of a recognition that democratic governance has reached what he calls an inflection point. There was a powerful wave of political opening around the world after the end of the Cold War, but that has been followed by nearly 2 decades of democratic backsliding. In many places, basic freedoms have eroded. Electoral rights have come under assault. Corruption has eaten away at hope. Under the summit banner, over the past 3 years, we have risen together to meet this challenge. More than 100 governments from every part of the world have committed to taking concrete action to strengthen and renew democracy, both in their countries, but also working together to tackle shared threats around the world. We're fighting corruption. Bulgaria is protecting whistleblowers and increasing accountability for public prosecutors. Kenya adopted open contracting data standards for public procurement and created a public beneficial ownership register. Canada is investing millions in combating money laundering around the world. We're promoting free and fair elections. Switzerland is supporting emerging democracies with technological expertise and guidance to reduce the risk of violence ahead of elections. Botswana is engaging regional bodies like the African Union and the regional economic communities to advocate for presidential term limits. Australia is providing electoral support to Southeast Asian and Pacific nations. We're protecting independent media and journalists. The United States has supported grants around more than a dozen countries to strengthen the long-term stability of media outlets through the International Fund for Public Interest Media. And we're improving the security of journalists, including those operating in exile under the Journalism Protection Platform. We're upholding and defending human rights. Nepal increased the statute of limitations to file a rape case. Czechia has begun a program to issue emergency visas for human rights defenders who may be under threat. The Bahamas launched a mobile tool to connect people with disabilities to services and employment opportunities. And critically, we are bringing partners outside of government into the important work of protecting and promoting democracy. The United States is launching a new national action plan on responsible business conduct. This plan sets out more than 40 concrete actions across the U.S. government to help ensure that the companies that we work with are actually upholding human rights. President Biden has made the defense of democracy a core pillar of American diplomacy because safeguarding and accelerating our democratic renewal at home requires that we help shape a world in which democracies can thrive. Shoring up traditional pillars of democracy is more important than ever. But we also need to show that democracy is responsive to our people's needs and can deliver on the issues that matter most in their lives and for their livelihoods, like the climate crisis, which for millions of people is literally an existential threat to their livelihoods today. Inclusive economic growth that protects the dignity of work and strengthens the economic competitiveness of democracies. Social rights like food, healthcare, education, housing. The rights and needs of the vulnerable and historically marginalized, women and girls, people living with disabilities, the LGBTQI+ community, religious and ethnic minorities, young people. Our democracy cannot be for some. It must be for all. That's why we're investing in new Summit for Democracy initiatives like the Youth Democracy Network to connect young democratic leaders across our countries. We need to be informed and animated by their needs, by their aspirations, and act on them if we want rising generations to support democratic societies. Revitalizing democracy will also require us to shape a technological future that's inclusive, that's rights-respecting, directed at driving progress in people's lives. As authoritarian and repressive regimes deploy technologies to undermine democracy and human rights, we need to ensure that technology sustains and supports democratic values and norms. A little bit later this morning, we'll have an opportunity to talk about ways to make sure that our technological progress, specifically artificial intelligence and digital tools, actually spur democratic renewal and do not undermine it. As President Biden often says, democracy doesn't happen by accident. We have to renew it constantly. And we have to confront our own shortcomings transparently, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's painful. We do so secure in the knowledge that democracy is a shared aspiration for people around the world, and that demand for representative democracy remains strong. Safeguarding our democracies is a collective effort, one that depends on our governments and on our people working together. All people, all nations, all sectors have contributions to make. And none of us has a monopoly on ideas, never mind good ideas. And that's in a way the power of the Summit for Democracy. The ability to actually share and scale solutions, to catalyze collective action, to shift norms. In doing that, we continue to earn the confidence of our people and the confidence of the world in our democratic model. So, to everyone here, thank you. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you for your leadership each and every day by each and every country here. And looking around this room, hearing the commitments from so many partners, I remain more than optimistic that we will meet the challenge of this moment. Thank you very much.
To let us know about the AI and digital policies of Ecuador. Next, we would like to welcome His Excellency Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State of the United States of America, to address us one more time to talk about the U.S. Policy. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. And good morning again. Thank you. So I again want to thank President Yoon and Foreign Minister Cho for bringing us together to discuss what is one of the most transformational forces that's shaping our future, our world, our democracies, and that is artificial intelligence. I think it's hard to overstate the extent to which the decisions that we make as governments, as communities, as people, as enterprises, over the coming months and coming years, it's hard to overstate the impact that's going to have on many years and many decades to come when it comes to AI. We have a profound stake in ensuring that democracies can lead the world in AI innovation so that we can in turn lead the world in setting the norms, the standards, the rules by which artificial intelligence is used. That's the most effective way and the necessary way to make sure that we're reaping the technology's extraordinary opportunities, but also protecting people from harm. And you heard Gabriela allude to some of this just a few moments ago. We can feel the tremendous excitement about AI around the world, and in fact, nowhere more so than in the vast global majority countries. There's a sense that this is a tool, a means by which to genuinely accelerate progress, and we're already seeing some of that. Kenya, for example, has deployed a new AI-enabled bot that enables women and girls to access comprehensive and accurate reproductive health information. Chile developed Triamos, an AI-supported tool that encourages young people to contribute their ideas to foster social change and to advance sustainable development. In Ukraine, an anti-corruption organization and tech companies came together on an AI-enabled system to accurately document attacks on cultural heritage and civilian infrastructure, which is strengthening Ukraine's prosecution of war crimes. We also know that AI has tremendous power to drive development that directly improves people's lives, and in doing so, earn the confidence of our people, people around the world, in our democratic model. But here's the reality. Right now, the world is on track to achieve just 12% of the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. So we are way behind. But AI could accelerate progress on 80% of the goals, from improving agricultural productivity, to combating hunger, to detecting and preventing outbreaks of disease, to accelerating our clean energy transition, that creates jobs and protects our planet at the same time. And as I'm traveling around the world, at least, what I'm hearing again and again and again is optimism about the potential for AI. Democracies are positioned to harness that optimism. But AI is also a critical arena in which democracy is being challenged. So while we seek to harness the power of AI and other digital technologies for good, some governments are abusing those same technologies to do just the opposite. They're using AI tools like facial recognition and bots to surveil their own citizens, harass journalists, human rights defenders, and political dissidents, spread mis- and disinformation that undermines free and fair elections, or sets one segment of our societies against another. Our democracies are hardly immune to the harms from AI misuse and failure, including impacts from the choices that tech companies make in deploying their innovations, from our citizens being able to access fewer and less diverse media sources because of the failures of AI-enabled search engines, to discrimination and bias that disproportionately affect racial and ethnic minorities. The United States is determined to shape the terms of our technological future in a way that's inclusive, rights-respecting, that sustains democratic values and democratic institutions. We've made historic investments in our technological capabilities and those of our democratic partners. At the same time, we're pairing those investments with efforts to lead on the governance of artificial intelligence. Those include an executive order strengthening AI safety and security, privacy protections, and equity and civil rights while promoting innovation. We've also set out an AI risk management framework, a blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights, a new AI Safety Institute, voluntary commitments endorsed by 15 top tech companies, and an international code of conduct for organizations developing advanced AI systems. We're building broad and inclusive support to uphold safe, secure, and trustworthy AI. Just this week, the United Nations is set to adopt the first ever standalone resolution on AI, focused on ensuring that AI is developed to advance sustainable development and actually deliver progress in people's lives. This resolution is led by the United States. It's now co-sponsored by more than 75 countries. And to those who have not yet joined, we really invite you to do so. This unity reflects a strong global consensus in support of two equally important goals: that AI is safe, secure, and trustworthy, and that its benefits are actually shared by all. We must support governance and capacity building that narrows the digital divide. AI is just one component of our broader democratic approach to technology. We're countering government surveillance and the misuse of spyware. Last year, President Biden issued an executive order prohibiting the use of commercial spyware by the United States government when its use poses security risks to our country or where it could lead to misuse by a foreign actor, including to carry out human rights abuse or to suppress civil liberties. 6 countries just signed on to our joint statement on the proliferation and misuse of commercial spyware. They join a 17-member strong coalition that's collaborating to make sure that spyware is used consistent with respect for universal human rights and for basic freedoms. We're defending human rights defenders online. Today, we're releasing first-of-its-kind guidance to give technology companies the tools to help prevent, mitigate, and seek justice for attacks on human rights defenders online. We're protecting access to a free and open internet. Since 2023, the U.S. government has supported 30 million users of circumvention tools, like VPNs, to get around government internet blackouts each month through the Surge and Sustain Fund for Anti-Censorship Technology. The stakes of this work could not be greater. But again, seeing everyone here today, seeing the work that we'll be doing over the next 3 days, the information we'll be sharing, the best practices we'll be working on together, that again gives me confidence that this is a challenge that we can not only embrace, but that we can succeed in meeting. If we can harness all of the extraordinary potential, all of the extraordinary good in AI, while mitigating the downsides, we will advance progress for people in all of our countries and around the world. It's a tremendous responsibility, but we have to meet it in this moment because, again, I'll close with this. This is moving so fast. It's moving so quickly that what is decided now and in the weeks and months ahead is going to shape the future for generations to come. So there's urgency to this effort, and we'll be much more effective, much stronger when we work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Blinken, for conveying the urgency of the task we have in hand.